Welcome back to First Take. No Dante DiVincenzo, no Anthony Edwards. No big deal for the Timberwolves, who took care of the Nuggets 110-98. Jaden McDaniels, 32-10. Terrence Shannon Jr., who filled in for an injured Ayo Dosunmu, who filled in for an injured Anthony Edwards, had 24 points. Nikola Jokic was only one rebound shy of a triple-double. So Denver, though, heading home. Here's Chris Finch on how motivated the Timberwolves were in this series.
Denver had the chance to pick who they wanted to play coming down the stretch, and they chose us. And we used that as a motivation all the way through preparation and through the series. They chose us. They didn't have to choose us. They chose us, and our guys were up for the challenge of that.
I mean, we just lost in the first round, so I think we are far away.
Do you feel like changes, or like what type of changes?
I mean, that's not my decision, to be honest. Definitely, if we're in Serbia, we will all get fired.
If we were in Serbia, everyone would be fired. Perk, your reaction to what Nikola Jokic just said?
Well, we're not in Serbia. We're in America. And he got punked yesterday for this series. He got punked. And we gotta hold him to a level of accountability like we would do, quote unquote, every all-time great. Over the past 3 years, second round exit, second round exit, first round exit. And you're telling me, without Anthony Edwards, without Dante, two starters and your best player, you couldn't pull out and go win this series? I want to sit up here and apologize. Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, I want to apologize to you and tell you I'm sorry. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I want to sit up here and tell you I apologize, I'm sorry. I want to apologize to Akeem the Dream Olajuwon because I jumped the gun just like everybody else when it comes down to disrespecting all-time greats. We were so ready to crown this man and put him ahead of all-time greats because of certain things and numbers that he was putting up in the regular season. I get it. He has one NBA championship. And matter of fact, I don't think Jokic is going to win another NBA championship, to be honest with you.
It ain't going to be because of him.
Well, what this series it was, he's going to take 50% of this blame for this series. He got exposed. Jaden McDaniels told us publicly, and I know he heard it, that the message and what the game plan was to attack him defensively. Jokic has never sniffed in all defensive team as a center. So when we get to talking about top five this and top five that of all time, we need to sit back and keep a cool booty. Is he a top 10 center of all time? Absolutely. But he needs some more accolades. He needs some more championships on his resume for us to start even considering that. And what Rudy Gobert did to him this series, he outplayed him. Rudy Gobert got a lot of apologies from a lot of people because we criticized him over the past. And you can sit up there with a frown on your face. You can sit up there looking at me crazy, but you know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth, and you know we all jumped the gun when we started crowning him as one of the greatest centers to ever play the game of basketball. Let's slow down on that top five conversation.
We can slow down on a top five conversation, but we were justified in having it based on what we were seeing. We weren't blind. The brother was on the court. He was winning a championship. Not only was he winning a championship, he was a walking triple-double.
So was Russell Westbrook.
I'll let you speak. Here's the deal. Don't compare the two. He has a ring.
I just said so was Russell when we talking about triple-doubles.
But I understand it. And Russell Westbrook is going to the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
You understand that, Warrior? So let's understand that. We're looking at Nikola Jokic. He obviously didn't look like himself, and he's not 100%, first of all. Secondly, despite all of that, the brother averaged 25, 13, and 9. That's a bad series for him. So that just speaks to his level of greatness. 25, 13, and 9 he averaged. Bad shooting, 45%. That's bad shooting for him. 19% from three-point range was awful. I get that part. But 25, 13, and 9 on 45% shooting. Perk, those are numbers most would die for. The bottom line is that we expect more from him. Did he get exposed a little bit? Sure. Was he not 100%? No. But we can't sit here and ignore Jamal Murray. 4-17 shooting 12 points, bro. You need him. We can't ignore the fact that Aaron Gordon wasn't out there, missed these 3 playoff games and missed 48 games this year. We can't ignore the fact that Peyton Watson wasn't there either. I understand what Minnesota didn't have, and I get that part. I do really understand that. And I get where you're coming from. We got to calm the conversation about top 5. I agree with you. No problem there. But I'm just saying, damn. It's Jokic, and you do have to take into consideration some of the pieces that he hasn't had around him, some of the changes the organization made to get in the way of things once they did win the championship. You know, you let cats walk out the door, and then you bring some of them back, and then cats are getting unhealthy, and you out there going up against Minnesota, who was an elite defensive team, got size and height everywhere, and they come at you. And McDaniels was absolutely right. But he didn't just say Jokic. He said collectively, by name, they cannot defend, meaning as a team, period. That's all that. You can't ignore all of those things.
No, I'm not ignoring it, but S.A., let's not sit up here and act like he still didn't have he didn't have the pieces around him. I know he was missing Aaron Gordon. I'm not sitting up here.
Watson.
Hold on. Okay. And I'm going to get into Jamal Murray in just a little bit, but he still had Bruce Brown, who he won a championship with, coming off the bench. They went out and got Tim Hardaway Jr. Cam Johnson showed up last night and was knocking down big-time shots after big-time shots. Okay, so he had the supporting cast. All I'm saying is, just like you just said, Jaylen Brown, win that Game 7 on your home floor. Show us why you finished in the MVP conversation. I'm keeping the same energy for Nikola Jokic. Anthony Edwards went down. You're telling me that you couldn't go on the road and be the best player on the floor and let Jaden McDaniels outshine you?
I believe we're going to find out somewhere along the line about a health issue. And I'm going to tell you why. This man, during the regular season, averaged 35 on 65% shooting against Minnesota and Rudy Gobert. For years, he has destroyed Rudy Gobert. And suddenly this playoffs, all of a sudden everything falls apart. I'm sorry. I'm just suspicious about that. Because when you are customarily, when you've got somebody's number, it don't change that drastically. It just doesn't.
But let's say he fell apart 2 years ago. Oh, my bad.
But it's not. But that's not the only team that's banged up. Even if something does come out, like the Nuggets, everyone's banged up. Look at the Lakers. Look at the Rockets. Look what's happening with the Timberwolves they just played. Everyone's banged up. That can't be an excuse.
But I'm not.
Right now.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, it's not just about his team being banged up. I'm saying we're going to find out he wasn't 100% because we're not used to seeing Jokic struggle like that, especially against Rudy Gobert. Now, if Rudy Gobert had consistently and historically given him problems, I would be with you. But, my God, he has owned Rudy Gobert. To see that dramatic of a shift take place in this series, I find shocking.
Well, explain what happened 2 years ago. Because they matched up in the semifinals. They was up by 20-plus points in the Game 7 at the crib, and the Minnesota Timberwolves with Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert walked it down and sent their asses home.
Walked them down and sent them home in 7 games. We also remember that Jokic was doing his thing, but he didn't have much help.
No. Jokic struggled in that Game 7 in the fourth quarter in the second half. That's when I said Karl Anthony Towns outplayed him. All I'm saying is this, S.A., when it comes to greatness, and you and I sit up here, when we talk about all-time greats,
hold him to the same level of accountability.
You damn right, because it's about the championships. Even going back to looking at a guy like Steph Curry, yeah, he won 3 championships, but he still had that itch. He still needed to find that one to go get that fourth. And if you go and ask him, that fourth probably meant more to him than those other 3 because how he got it done. He was called the defensive liability at one point. We saw Steph Curry level up his defense and saw him guarding certain big players like a Al Horford, like a Jaylen Brown when they were searching them out. All I'm saying is this. Jokic, yes, all-time great, top 10 center, top 20 player, but we're not letting them off the hook. And let's pipe it down with that top 5 nonsense when it comes to top 5 centers of all time. Dream, I would never disrespect you again.
Okay, so the reality is the Timberwolves have now eliminated the Nuggets 2 out of the last 3 seasons, and the Nuggets were favored in those series both times. Where does Denver go from here?
I picked them to win the 6, Shay.
Where does Denver go from here, though? You heard what Nikola Jokic said. If we were in Serbia, everyone would be fired. What did they do?
You better say it. No, you better say
They got to make changes.
what changes.
Jamal Murray.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jamal Murray. I mean, I'm looking at him yesterday, and it's like, yo, bro, this is not the Jamal Murray I know. You know, this is a big game. You got to show up in this game. You know, the reality is that, again, Denver as an organization, you don't really have any first-round picks available. You can't swap until 2031 or 2033. You know, you're limited in what you can do. And so the person, I don't know how you're going to go about getting the personnel, but you better find a way because Jokic ain't going nowhere. He turned down a 3-year extension that he could have signed last year. He wants the bag. He's eligible for a 4-year, $293 million extension. And if you're the Denver Nuggets, how are you not going to give it to him? You damn right you're going to give him that money, especially when he sits there and looks in the camera and says, I want to be a Nugget for life. So he wants to be there. He wants to stay there. He just wants the bag that comes with it. And if you're the Denver Nuggets, you're going to have to figure out a way to get the pieces around him because clearly, you know what you have around him is not good enough right now. Cameron Johnson, I like that move. You know, Michael Porter, him replacing Michael Porter and stuff. I don't have any problem with that. But Aaron Gordon, I love Aaron Gordon, but he wasn't healthy. I mean, and listen, this ain't the first time he's had health issues. So you got to look at him now, too. And Jamal Murray, I mean, you know, damn. I expected more. I expected more, and I didn't get it.
No, he was a disappointment. And the fact that Jaden McDaniels, by the way, if I had to give an MVP to somebody in the first round, it would be Jaden McDaniels for what he did and how he did it. To talk his stuff and go out there and back it up and getting it done on both ends of the floor. But the Nuggets, it's time to move on from Jamal Murray. And yes, listen, you're correct. Jokic deserved every penny. If it's $300 million, damn it, you back the Brinks truck up. But when it comes to Jamal Murray, that duo has run its course. Now, I'm going to throw some things out there to you. You know, we was talking about, you know, what should the Miami Heat go and get, and should Steph be in Golden State for the rest of his career? And I know I said it a week ago, but things change throughout the course of the playoffs, right? We don't know if Steve Kerr's going to come back. But wouldn't you mind seeing Steph Curry and Jokic team up? You know what I mean? When you think about I'm just saying. Right. I'm just saying if it's about winning, if it's about championships,
he ain't going to no my house city. He ain't going to no my house city. It's just gonna happen. It's just not happening.
I know it might not, but that's like you just said. What players out there that's going to come in that's going to move the needle enough? Because you're talking about a tough Western Conference, so you still got Luka. Right, with the Lakers. You got Ant-Man in Minnesota. You got SGA in Oklahoma City. And then you got Wemby down there in San Antonio. So you got to stack up. Yeah. You got to go find some type of piece or somebody to come in and bring in and replace Jamal Murray because Jamal Murray is not the answer anymore. They won a championship with him. Good enough. It's time to move on.
Okay, well, for now.
I don't know who you can go get, though, in Denver, but you're right.
Something to think about. For now, the Nuggets are going home. The Timberwolves will advance.